Hey everybody out there on YouTube, this is Dick Valencia, factory rider for Supercross BMX. What we're gonna work on today is upgrading your idler system. So this is the traditional one that comes with the Vision F1. We're gonna go ahead and upload that to the spring-loaded factory team edition today. Bonus, if you know who on the factory Supercross team's bike this is, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let's go ahead and start working on this. All right guys, so what we have here is the factory, and basically the difference between this one and the one that comes with your bike is this one's gonna be spring loaded. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna pull this one apart just so we can show you how to increase or decrease that tension. Everything is gonna work around this one bolt, so it's very simple. You're just gonna put an Allen in there. We're gonna go ahead and spin this bad boy off. You're gonna see here, it's similar to an old style V-brake. So basically what happens is that spring gets bound up there. All those little holes there are basically gonna increase and decrease your tension, okay? So when it comes, it's gonna come in basically like a neutral, not too much, not too less. If you go ahead and put it one click to the right, maybe even two clicks to right, what's gonna happen is that's gonna increase your tension. If you end up coming back here and you start to go the other direction, that's gonna lower the tension. So depending on how much tension you like in your chain line, that's gonna be how you're gonna go ahead and adjust that. The big thing that we see always, and we see it a lot as we start to put this back together, you're gonna see that that spring there is gonna go directly into that CNC'd spot. So put it in there, that's gonna close it. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this in here. What we see a lot is when people start to close this up and they get on here, we'll go ahead and tighten this. What you wanna do is not go too crazy here, okay? Just go ahead and snug it up, maybe go a little bit more, and then that's gonna work. That's gonna give you all that spring tension that you need, and it's gonna go ahead and keep that chain nice and snug on there. All right guys, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take out the rear hub here. So depending on what hubs you have, you're just gonna go ahead and pull that bad boy out. Make sure that these flip chips do stay in your bicycle. If you happen to drop them down or anything, you want to make sure that you don't lose those. The biggest part about this with the spring-loaded one is that it makes it a lot easier for gear changes and things like that. If you do happen to make a gear change in the daytime, you don't really have to do anything. It makes it really hands-off. Currently, right now, you'll see that the original one works on a slider. So that's gonna be the way that you set the tension. Once you go to the spring-loaded one, it's gonna go ahead and auto set that tension, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and pull these hub bolts out here, and then we will drop that back wheel. So as I said, guys, you wanna make sure that those flip chips are nice and firm in there. They should just slide right in, right out. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that flip chip. There you go, that's the original. It's just gonna slide right out there. You'll see Deegan's got a little bit of dirt, grime buildup here, so we'll go ahead and clean that up a little bit, and then we'll snap right back in and get that new one in. All right guys, so we're gonna go ahead and install this new one now. As you see, it's gonna be just drop fit in. So once you get it in there, you're just gonna wanna slide it right into place. It should go pretty easily into place. Sometimes you have to give it a little wiggle. If you have paint that's built up, maybe some dirt, some grime, anything like that, what you'll wanna do is just go ahead and make sure that it's as clean as you can get it, and then you're gonna go ahead and pop your flip chip in right behind it. There you go, that's nice and snug in there. Now that we've got that in there, flip chips in there, you'll notice that this spring tension is basically automatically gonna be tensioning. The chain's not in there yet, but as you can see, as soon as you push that up, it's gonna go ahead and do it. Now, when you do a gear change, you go to a smaller diameter gear, maybe even go to a bigger gear. What happens is all that excess chain that's there, this spring tensioner is automatically gonna go ahead and take up any of that slop. So it's really just dropping your gear, changing your 4 bolts for the sprocket, putting it back together, and it'll drop it down. So you'll see here, once we put it together, we'll be good to go and back to the track. So you guys see there that that spring is already, we haven't even done the rear bolts, but we've already basically achieved perfect spring tension, okay? What that's doing is any slop that's in that chain, because we've already auto adjusted everything, it's constantly gonna put force on there. So let's say you happen to get a sprocket that's bent or something. If there's any loose spots in your chain, this spring is gonna always work to alleviate any of that. So we'll go ahead and tighten up these rear bolts, and then we should be good to go. Like I said, guys, as always, once you get those bolts in, you don't got to go too crazy. The way the flip chip is designed, that wheel really cannot move forward. So you just want to go ahead and snug it up, maybe go a quarter turn more. Just double check each side is good to go. So if you've done a gear change, it's going to already set that tension. And then you guys will see here, that can be a loose chain, but what happens is this spring is constantly gonna go ahead and push on that chain just to make sure you get that perfect spring tension every time. All right, guys, we just went ahead and walked you through how to upgrade the Idler to the spring-loaded version. Like I said earlier, what's gonna happen is as your chain stretches, or if you happen to change a gear or anything like that, this spring-loaded tension is always gonna compensate for that loose chain, okay? It's always gonna get it to exactly where you want it. We walked you through earlier how to tighten or loosen that. Any questions that you may come across, how to install, how to increase, decrease that tension, go ahead and comment below. As always, we ask, like and subscribe. Now that this thing's all ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and get a lap at the track, and I hope to see you guys out there riding soon.